All right, we're live, and we're going to talk about this video. So, um, sometimes having ADHD, sometimes I don't get back around to the actual videos, but we're going to talk about this video here. So, I'm going to go ahead and pause it. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got 3 of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. We got at least 11 conductors here. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off my Bluetooth just in case you guys can't hear me. So we got about 12 current carrying right there. Got 12 hots. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 neutrals here. So these count as current carrying conductors. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video now.
And we should have 12 neutrals. All those.
Go to sleep, work tomorrow. Yeah, well, got too much on my mind here.
Times current carrying, so you got 24 current carrying. So technically, we're probably going to go close to 50%. So if this wire is good for 25 amps, you really can't even put these on 20 amp breakers once you do the calculation.
Okay, so a couple of things here, right? They don't have the handle tie, so this is a multi-wire branch circuit. They're sharing neutrals, and they should have a handle tie that ties all 3 of these breakers together, and they simultaneously disconnect the circuit, because if you've got one circuit that's pulling, let's say it's pulling 5 amps or whatever, you turn off this one circuit. Well, the other circuits are also pulling 5 amps, and they're sharing that same neutral. So you can wind up with a lot of current on that neutral coming back. Typically, neutrals are safe to touch, just electrical safety. I told you guys I'd do a video on
Relations on that.
On this specific video here, and it's a lot easier for me to do a live electrical work safety, electrical code, national electrical code calculations, things like that. So that's what this is about.
So technically, we're probably going to go close to 50%.
So I've got a bunch of video comments here. Probably more than half of these are about wanting an explanation for this. So we're going to go to the garage now, to the workshop. I'm going to grab my code book and I'll show you what we're talking about here. Keep in mind, we've got at least 12 hots, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 current carrying conductors. So we'll do a wire fill for fun. We'll do a correction and adjustment, and then we'll also look at the multi-wire branch circuit requirements when you share neutrals. So let's go over here. I do not have a code book in this room. I usually have a code book in every room of the house. Okay, there's got to be a code book in this garage here somewhere. Let me see here. We have index, but no code book. That is very surprising. Hang on. Okay, let me grab a code book. I thought for sure I had a code book in this garage. Let me close this garage door. God does love everyone. That is a fact. That is a fact. Thank you for reminding everybody. Okay, so we're going to go 310.15b 3a. So here's what we're looking for. There's 310.15. Is it C? It's C1, sorry, my bad. Adjustment factors for more than 3 current carrying conductors, right? So what we saw was they had, at least 20 current carrying conductors. So that's 50%. So when you got that many wires inside of a pipe, what happens is they build up heat. And let's just say in this same conduit, each of these is 1 degree of temperature. You know, for example, every one of those adds up to a lot of heat in the same area. So the idea is that once you get more than 4 to 6 here, in this case 7 to 9 would be 70%, 10 to 20 would be 50%. So once you get a lot of conductors in the same pipe, meaning conductors is in wire, once you get a lot of wire in the same pipe, what you're looking at, we can come over here and you'll see like a standard number 12, which is pretty common. You can start off at 30 amps. And then once you have 20 of them in the same pipe, which we did there, you'll see here we go to 50%. So if we take 50% of 30 amps here, where is it here? There. Hold up. 30 amps there. You see you're going to get 15 amps. That's 15 amps max, right? So if we go 240.6 here, and we go to the standard amperage ratings for fuses, you're going to see that 15 is actually a standard size. And we're not allowed to go to the next standard size. If we're at 16 amps, then yeah, we could go to the next standard size because we're not on a 15 amp. Or if we're at 14 amps, we go to 15. If we're at 17 amps, we go to 20, right? We fell on a standard rating. We're stuck on 15 amp breakers. There's no 15 amp breakers in commercial construction. So that's a huge problem right there. So all of their wire that they had on those 20 amp breakers, they were no good, right? Next, we're going to go to branch circuits, which should be 210. I'm looking for multi-wire branch circuits, and they keep moving my codes around, so I'm going to do my best to find it as fast as possible. Here it is here. Multi-wire branch circuits, okay? Now, what a multi-wire branch circuit is exactly that. It's multi-wire, and it's one branch circuit. So if we had several lights here, right? We'll use this as a neutral. Sorry, I've got one hand to hold this paper still. This is the neutral. Okay, and we have one breaker. So if we had our panel here and we came off of one breaker, and these were the hots here. Or actually, we're not going to do that. We'll do a separate hot. We ran one separate circuit, okay? This is the hot, this is the hot, and this is the hot. We had 3 separate hots. So we had 3 separate breakers, and we ran one hot to each of these lights, okay? So one circuit to each of these lights. You get the point. I'm having a hard time holding this paper still. And we shared one neutral to each of these lights. What's going to happen is, what's that, Misha? So each of these lights pulled out 1 amp, okay? 1 amp here. So we have 1 amp on this breaker here coming in. And we have 1 amp here, and we have 1 amp on this breaker, which we didn't draw yet, but it went to the hot over here, to the light, right? We wind up with 3 amps on our neutral. Now, what happens is, yeah, this pin is pretty cool, man. It's good for construction. You can get in the back of those 4 square boxes. It's actually a pencil. So you can extend your lead out, because a lot of times when you're trying to mark in the back of these boxes, you need thinner lead and stuff. So pretty cool. I think I got it for like $10 for 2 of these, and it came with the lead refills too. Can I make you a monitor? Oh yeah, probably. Hang on. Let me see. Let's see here. There, I think that's the one that I want. Okay, so I'm gonna draw this better here in a second, but pretty much what you wind up with is you got 1 amp on each of these circuits, right? But you're only sharing the neutral. So let's say you want to work on this light only. The electrician will turn off this one breaker, okay? Now at this light, you're at a junction box, and he's got his wires hanging out, and he's got a hot here, and he's got his neutral here. And you typically have a hot and a neutral coming in, and a hot and a neutral coming in. So that's the neutral, and that one's the hot, right? And these neutrals are actually still live because you're only using one for all 3 of these. So even though you've turned off this one circuit, and you can go here to the ground. If we went to the ground screw, there's a ground here, or there was even ground wires coming in. They're all tied together, right? And we have one ground here. You could take your multimeter and you could go from this hot to this ground, and you would see 0 volts because the circuit's off. But the neutral still has power on it because you're using one neutral. You didn't run an individual neutral to each light. You ran one neutral for all 3 lights to that one. So now we have 2 amps on that neutral. Only takes like 0.10 of a neutral to, stop your heart, 30 to fry it. So this is where you get that dangerous situation. This is where multi-wire branch circuits come into play. And it says your multi-wire branch circuit shall be permitted to be considered as multiple circuits. All conductors of a multi-wire branch circuit shall originate from the same panel board. So that means they got to come from the same panel. But it also goes on to say that each branch circuit shall be provided with the means that will simultaneously disconnect all the hots where they originate. So what that means is you would have to put a handle tie across all 3 of these breakers. That way you have no choice but to shut off all 3 of these breakers at the same time, which will remove the load on these neutrals because all the lights will be off, not just this one light. And then that way it's safe to work inside this box. That's what that video was about. And then it was also about, like we mentioned before, it was also about, gotta get to 310, having so many conductors in the same pipe, where once you have that many wires in there, you're only good for 50%. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I could draw it on the whiteboard, but this was just a little bit quicker. So yeah, I could have made a video about it, man, but it's just as easy just to make it live for you guys, and then I can download it on my phone and then cut it up into another short or whatever I can do, because sometimes it's just faster and better for you guys to get steady content. What book is that? This is the National Electric Code. This is the 2020. We're in the 23 here pretty soon. That's the 2020 code book. So this has all the everything you want to know about electrical. It's in here, pretty much. See, don't know how I got here on YouTube, but I'm learning and I've subscribed. Thanks. Nice, man. Appreciate it. Bodcock says, be careful. Mizzy Kitten says, what is this? And I think we're about caught up with the chat. As an apprentice at the moment, I'm learning as much as I can. Can you make a video for newbies like myself? Yeah, man, absolutely. Matt says, thanks, bro. I do air conditioning. Seems useful. Man, this is useful. I also did air conditioning. Now, I didn't do it on a professional level. I just helped a buddy. So I went to heat and ventilation air conditioning school for almost 4 years because I wanted to be an electrician, but I didn't know how to even start. So I started with electrical knowledge for, troubleshooting and all that stuff. Treat everything like you're a newbie. Yeah. So that's kind of how I got into electrical, was because of HVAC. So a lot of that electrical stuff goes hand in hand, man. I'm going to say that if you do HVAC, you're probably a better troubleshooter than most of the electricians on a construction job site, unless you are the guy that has to go out and put out all the metaphorical fires at all the job sites once everyone leaves, and you're sitting there, the last person on the job, trying to figure out why something won't work, which is what I pretty much wound up being. You're not going to know that much about controls or how to troubleshoot or electrical or anything like that. You're just going to know how to run pipe or pull wire. Or really, that's about it. You're not even going to know why you're doing it. You're just following plans and someone's telling you what to do. In the field coming up, you really don't learn what you need to know. They kind of keep you down here purposely. Maybe not purposely, but it is purposely. And then they kind of have their chain of command going on. I mean, I'm in Texas. I mean, yeah, VDA systems are a pain in the ass. Nothing worse than a computer and mechanics having a tug of war. Yeah, exactly. HVAC's gotten so crazy now. It's literally, I mean, you can control this stuff from another state. But there's always going to be something mechanical or electrical that'll break down on site. So you got a good, secure job. What's up, Owen? And then Misha says he's an apprentice at the moment. Learn as much as you can. Some of the best advice for a newbie that I can give you would be just to try to figure out what the person you're helping is going to need next before they even know they need it. Just really be paying attention and just trying to be helpful. Take initiative for wanting to do something. Show the initiative. Show that you're hungry to learn more. And if you've got somebody that is willing to teach you, the sky is the limit. It's all up to you and what you want to do. Some people will come and go. It's like a revolving door. But few that stick out, that actually want to learn, people will pick it up just like that, man. They'd be like, man, that guy is going somewhere. I'm going to teach him everything that I can and try to hang on to him, take you from job site to job site. What state do you live in? I'm in Iowa. I'm in Texas. Yeah, dead on tools. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's just an explanation for that video. I got a lot of videos on electrical mistakes to avoid. When sharing the neutral for two circuits on single phase, neutral wire returns the difference on the two. How do you calculate neutral load when sharing the neutral on three phase circuits? It's the magical number is a 1.732, which is the square root, of I have to write it out, but if we did, I think it's 360, 720. You got to take the voltage. Man, it's been a while. 1.732. I need another device to calculate. Because you'd be 277 volt with a neutral. So I think it'd be 360. I would need another calculator. I've only got this phone on me. Hang on. Pretty much you could probably divide it by 3. Would be how you do the 3-phase. But I mean, just assume that whatever this is pulling is what it's going to be pulling. You really don't know what the actual load is without the wattage. So it's kind of all irrelevant anyway. But if you had, and that's kind of the good thing when you get into the higher voltage, is that it's less ohms, but the more voltage, so it hurts like hell. So if we had 3 lights here, and we went to the panel. We had one neutral, and then we hit a junction box, and all three of them came in here to one neutral, like that. And then we had three separate circuits, and we had 1, 3, and 5 here, and we had breakers 1, 3, and 5 there, and they went out accordingly, right? Based on the wattage and all that, just know that, you know, whatever load is on one of the circuits, it's also on these as well. I'm going to go in a bit because I have to get to bed because I have school tomorrow. Nice. Are you by where the wildlife are in Texas? No. Nope. I'll get you that calculation, Llama, exactly what it is. I'll have to get a calculator and play with some numbers. But yeah, you would need to know what your voltage is going to be. And then you'd need to know what your wattage is going to be, because you go, you know, PIE and EIR. So E is volts, R is resistance, I is intensity or amperage, E is volts, P is power, watts, I is amperage. Across multiplies, diagonal divides. So if we had our wattage of 100 watts, we did 100 watts, and we're trying to find out what are we trying to find out? The amperage. We have the watts, we're trying to get amperage. You do volts times power. And then, oh no, wait. Be divided, sorry. Haha. Dang it. 120 by 100. And that would give you your amperage. But if it was for 3-phase, first off, it wouldn't be 120. It would be 277, because you're going to have a neutral. Could I catch that book name again? Thanks for your time. Keep up the good work. It is the National Electrical Code. And mine's all taped up because I use it so much, it literally just falls apart. This is one of my newer ones. And I got into where I don't even tab the books. The tabs just get in the way because I pretty much know where everything is in the book. But the tabs just tear the pages. Do a kickflip is my suggestion. In the work boots, come on. I haven't been on a skateboard since you last saw me on a skateboard. All right, here we go. We're gonna try to jump on it this time. Last one because it's late. Well, we didn't die, so that's good. You saw the Ryobi. Oh yeah, dude. But that's a decent pressure washer, man. I don't have any regrets getting that one. Picture scenario where you got 3 120-volt ovens, and all three share 3-phase breaker that's tied together. Each oven is 14 amps. Oh. No, I don't think I saw your comment. Let me see, Big Red. No, I'm not by the wildfires, man. Okay, so picture scenario. We got 3 ovens. They look kind of surprised. Okay, 3 ovens, right? They're 120 volts each. And they are 14 amps each. So this goes to a panel here. We'll just put one disc shut off. Stupid, whatever. One there, one there, one there. We have one common neutral. Neutral, neutral, neutral. Okay. This one's 14 amps. This one's 14 amps. This one's 14 amps. So, in his scenario, if we were to kill, it'd be a lot of load too. I see where that could be a problem when you're putting 28 amps on the neutral coming back. Yeah, I mean, essentially, if you kill that one circuit, you're going to get rid of one of the 14 amps there. Yeah, I'm answering it right now. This is his scenario. Each oven is 14. So yeah, man, you kill one of these ovens, you're gonna only eliminate this. You still got, essentially 28 amps coming back here on the neutral. Tell him I say have a good night. All right, man. Have a good night. Try and keep up with the chat. So yeah, just keep in mind, your neutral carries the imbalance, so it might not be the whole total load, but you've got a lot of current coming back. Typically for lighting, you might have 5 to 7 amps on each light still going. You'll kill one light, and then you still got up to 10 amps on that neutral. That's pretty common. People get hurt like that all the time. And by hurt, I mean permanently not okay. But yeah, if this is your meter for your house, and you got your lugs here, right? That's going to utility. And then your neutral kind of usually comes down the middle there. And it's coming out, and you were to check the wire, and let's say we had 8 amps here on A, and we had 14 amps on B. On your neutral, you're going to have a 6 amps because it's carrying the imbalance. Keep in mind, an amp is enough to do permanent life situations. So it's almost irrelevant. After an amp, man, it's almost irrelevant on. So the scenario, would you upsize your neutral, or would it not be allowed because it's the neutral load of the calculation? I've never seen a scenario where the neutral is larger than a hot. So you'll run into like super neutrals for like computers and stuff where you have a whole bunch of nonlinear loads. But yeah, that's a good point, man. I can see where you could overload your neutral. I've never seen anyone design a system so stupid that they would do that. But that could be a thing. I've never really thought about that. Does wire gauge matter? Yeah. Yeah, in this case, wire gauge would certainly matter, especially if you're bringing all this current back on one neutral. I can't imagine anyone would ever do that, but electrically, it'll work. And the problem with electrical is it doesn't care what the size wire is, doesn't care what the color of the wire is, it's going to pull it. So whether you got large enough wire or not, it's going to pull that load. That's an interesting scenario. Never really thought about that. I've never seen anybody do something that crazy. That would be crazy. But nowadays, man, everything's LED. So you got LED lights and you're getting less and less wattage. You used to need like 10, 12 circuits just for lighting in some of these larger, you know, medium-sized kind of grocery stores, I guess. And now you need like 2 circuits. Yeah, exactly. It would likely be a retrofit from a building that was existing and then transitioned to a restaurant. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's interesting. Never really thought about that. Okay. Well, that's what we made live the other night. We still got to contour the handle more. We're going to leave it thick here and then kind of profile it down to a smaller handle. But that's the walnut mallet that we started making. Okay, that's all we got. Just want to make a quick video. Maybe cut it up into a short. I think I might do one more scenario. That'll be short worthy. And I'm going to try and do it quick. Well, I'll have it digital. See if I can use this book to hold this paper still. So in this case, if we got 3 lights and there's our neutrals there, we have one common junction box that fed all the neutrals in our panel. Have one neutral wire here, and we had 3 separate hot circuits to 3 separate breakers coming over here, 1, 3, and 5. Each light pulling 2 amps total. You'd wind up where your neutral had 6 amps. If we turned off one of these circuits, you would be 2 less amps total, but you'd still wind up with 4 amps alone on this neutral. So it would look like this if you're in your junction box and you had your wires coming in. You could take a multimeter and you could go from the hot to a ground wire or whatever. You get 0 volts, but you would actually wind up, if you went from neutral to neutral, you complete the circuit and you would get 120 volts if you touch the neutrals together. But in this case, since you thought that you'd turn the circuit off and everything was safe, and you checked it hot to ground, and you saw 0 volts, chances are you probably put your fingers on that circuit, and then you would be the load. You would light up like the light bulb. And 4 amps across your heart is never a good scenario. That's why we have what we call multi-wire branch circuits, which is right here, multi-wire branch circuits. And the requirement to simultaneously disconnect. That way, all the circuits are off. There you go. This is a quick explanation. All right, we're out of here. See you guys later. Thanks for watching. I'm going to wait to make sure Llama's not typing something else. We'll see you later.